World Elder Abuse Awareness Day is commemorated on June 15th every year with the purpose of providing an opportunity for communities around the world to promote a better understanding of abuse and neglect of older persons by raising awareness of the cultural, social, economic, and demographic processes affecting elder abuse and neglect. Despite increased awareness, many countries still lack reliable data, and staff shortages or lack of adequate training continue to create high-risk conditions for abuse and neglect of older persons. While most older people live in their various communities, institutional care is a reality for many. And as the need for institutional care grows with global aging, so do concerns about safeguarding the rights, safety, and dignity of residents. This year's World Elder Abuse Awareness Day is with the theme addressing abuse of older adults in long-term care facilities through data and action. And with a global aging population and increasing reliance on institutional care, ensuring residents' safety and dignity is more urgent than ever. Available statistics indicate that between 2019 and 2030, the number of persons aged 60 years or over is projected to grow by 38%, from 1 billion to 1.4 billion globally, outnumbering the youth. And this increase will be the greatest and most rapid in the developing world. There is therefore recognition that greater attention needs to be paid to the specific challenges affecting older persons. In a moment, I will introduce my guests who will be interrogating these critical issues around elder abuse. Thanks for joining us on Nigeria Today. I am your carrier, Clinton. Now with me in the studio for this conversation is Senator Eze Ajoko. He is the President, Coalition of Societies for the Rights of Older Persons in Nigeria, COSROPIN. You're welcome to Nigeria Today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Also with us in the studio for this conversation is Omini Odeng. He is the Head, Corporate Affairs, Media and Communications at the National Senior Citizens Center, NSCC. Glad to have you on Nigeria Today.
It's a pleasure being here.
Now, I will start with you, Senator Ajoko. We talked a lot about elder abuse awareness. What exactly constitutes elder abuse?
Well, as you know, older persons suffer in the hands of their relations, those around them, and extended families. They also suffer because of some legislations in the country. And therefore, when you want to understand elder abuse, you see it in the light of those things which are denial of human rights being meted out to older persons. And those may include things that you can say they are physical. You beat an older person, even if you are taking care of them and he's not taking his medicine, you slap, you open your mouth and take it. Or you give them food and you force the food on them. That will amount to an elder abuse. You also find that emotionally you can abuse an older person, and that abuse will annoy that older person all day and all night. It can even give them headache, thinking it's you whom I suffered for that is treating me this year. You find that some people lock their parents indoors even when they visit them. If your mother comes here today, my own mother is 100, is going to 107. If he comes to Abuja and we're all going to work, what do you think we will do? We'll lock her in, put on the TV and leave her down. That's not her desire. She will want to have fresh air. She will want to come out. So all those type of denial of rights, or you don't give your parents money You know they have none. You allow them to suffer. You have not given them a house girl. They're alone in the village, isolated. And if nobody cares about them, then they're at the mercy of God. So you look at a lot of things that are connected with elder abuse, which we do without recognizing. That's why we are creating this awareness, that when you do this, it's an elder abuse. When you do that, it's an elder abuse. Some young people force their old people to sign checks or even forge their signatures and withdraw their money. Some people sell their properties without their permission. You know? Some children are praying that their father should die now. Let them inherit all the money. And so whatever they know they will do to kill their father, they will do it. So elder abuse is so wide, emotionally, physically, financially, you know, in all aspects of life. And we create this awareness because some of us may be involved in abusing our parents without knowing. Without knowing. You know, you abuse your mom. Mama, stop that nonsense. Every time, Mama, you are this, I that. Mama recoils. Say, is it you, Eukarya, who is telling me this? Mama's mind will go back when he used to lap you on the back, when he used to do all those things. And for those periods, Mama is very unhappy. But you don't care, you don't know, you don't notice. You don't know that you have hurt Mama. Okay? You've treated her like a nobody. Or you leave Mama alone. You're all on your phone. Mama doesn't know how to use phone. Mama is with you, but is alone. Even though there's a crowd around her, but she's isolated. There's no interaction, no opportunity. We don't give. During COVID, you know what Kosropin was doing? We asked communities to send the phone number of old people in their communities we send them credit so that they can be talking to somebody instead of just sitting at home and waiting from morning to night. So elder abuse is is very wide, and a lot of us are involved in it without knowing. So this awareness which we create and which the UN has decided on the 15th of every June, we should create that awareness. It's helping many who don't think about it to recognize that, I may be abusing my mother. I may be abusing my father. I may have isolated them. And you know, isolation is a killer.
Yes, thank you very much, Senator Joko. Now, Mr. Dane, just, of course, we've known what constitutes elder abuse. Now, what are the factors that could lead to this abuse, and how prevalent is it in Nigeria?
Thank you so much. I'm so excited that Senator Joko really dwelt into it, and I was happy he had to summarize it because it's huge. And he was able to bring it into psychological, physical, sexual is also there, financial is there. Well, what constitutes it, or why is it, is because the awareness wasn't there, mostly within the African continent. But today, mostly Nigeria. Nigeria today is a voice in the world, it's a voice in sub-Saharan Africa when it comes to awareness creation within the ambit of elder abuse. People never knew that right you give to that child, the right you give to that woman, the right you give to that man who is in her 40s, in her 50s, the man in his 60s, 70s, the woman in her 60s, 70s deserve that right. Today, Nigerians are aware that human rights, the right of older persons, senior citizens, fall within human rights, not tucked into one corner as an empowerment program, not tucked into one department where they think of giving palliatives all the time. Today, there's an agency in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the National Senior Citizen Center, where the federal government has mandated to see that we cater to the needs and conditions of senior citizens in the country. Even the wisdom of the crafters of the law, because it was passed by an act of parliament, the act says all state governments are supposed to domesticate the National Senior Citizen Center Act 2017 and establish similar agencies at the state level so that activities of elder abuse, activities of senior citizens, matters concerning aging and older persons will be cascaded, like he said, up to the grassroots, because the large gamut of older persons and senior citizens are down there. So today, because of the advocacy we are putting in place and support we get from expert groups like theirs, NGOs in the country, we have about 4 states, and we'll keep commending. Kebbi was the first, Kogi State was the first to domesticate. They are yet to inaugurate a center in the state, followed by Kebbi State. After Kebbi, Cross River State followed, and lastly was from the southeast, Abia State. So we hope and believe that by the time this thing cascades, we have all states domesticate the National Senior Citizen Center Act, and we have similar agencies at the state level. And NSCC, by mandate, establish zonal offices across the 6 duplicate zones. And we have expert groups like COSROPIN working with the states, working with the federal. Matters, the awareness level would have been to a level that you can say Nigeria in the nearest future will be the best place to grow old in.
Now, Senator Joko, having known that this exists in Nigeria, you know, it's really, I know there are elders everywhere. We have elders in our homes, but we don't really see that much like a thing, like the way you are talking about it, creating a center for it, and we just believe it's a Western thing. Why is it really, will I say, underreported, you know, in this part of the world? You know, talking about abusing the elders.
But let me clarify something. Elder abuse is not unique to Nigeria. It is a global issue. Globally, even in America, elder abuse is still in place. The difference there is that there are laws protecting the older persons. They have legal works that if you abuse an older person or you treat them this way, he can sue you. The unfortunate thing in Nigeria is that we do not have such laws protecting the rights and the privileges of older persons. Unfortunately, COSROPIN in 2016 developed on our own what we consider to be a bill, which we took to National Assembly. And the National Assembly took ownership of the bill, passed it, both the Senate and the House, in 2021. And it was transmitted to the president, the former president. And some people lobbied him not to sign it. We were privileged to some documents that people lobbied him. He didn't sign it. Neither did he return it to the Senate, because if you return the bill with comments, I say, I don't like this, government can't do this, government can't fund this, then the Senate will look at it again. And therefore, it became a dead bill. We've just started again with the 10th National Assembly. And we're happy to report that the bill has passed second reading. So it's now going for, again, public hearing. Now, when you have a legal framework protecting the rights and privileges of older persons, when you hear that that person was locked up for beating his mother, you say, I don't want to be locked up. When you hear that that person defrauded his grandmother, you will be afraid. But now, because there is no law,
no consequences then?
No consequences. And so everybody does it, you know? And one thing with elder abuse, it is not generally reported. Out of 24 cases, maybe you only hear about 1. They are done secretly because there's no law. So it thrives where there's no legal system to protect the right of any child. This country has laws that protect the right of the children, right of the child, the right of the woman, even the youths. It's the only older persons who are forgotten. And that's what organizations like us are fighting for.
And funny enough, we all grow old.
Everybody who prays will grow old. And when you get old, they call you a witch.
So we'll take a short break now. The conversation will continue after the break. Don't go away.
The implementation of the ruling is also dependent on another aspect or another arm of government.
Nowhere in the world will allow under digital economy for banks not to be dispensing domestic currency in that economy.
What will make this one different?
We want to know what they do as occupation. All of these are attributes that our questions have been designed to investigate.
In a few days to come, you see that we are all around their own crannies and everywhere in Nigeria, telling people to cooperate.
Welcome to Nigeria Today.
Welcome back. This is still Nigeria Today. We're looking at the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. And of course, I have two gentlemen here in the studio for the conversation. And Mr. Den, having had that part of the story from Senator Ajoko, would you hope that the bill gets accelerated and we have laws that will protect the elderly?
Sure.
Because hopefully I will get to 100.
But
I want to be taken care of. Properly taken care of.
Just like you said, while that is being pursued, we as an agency of government, we pride ourselves to say we work towards improving the quality of life of senior citizens in the country. There are other arms of government or institutions of government who, by mandate, tend to protect the rights of Nigerians. For instance, the VAP Act is anchored by NAPTIP and a few other ones. So, in ensuring that older persons are respected and given their due within the development agendas of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we're in partnership with NAPTIP, we're in partnership with the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria, we're in partnership with the National Human Rights Commission. In the area of advocacy, we're in partnership with National Education Agency, we're in partnership with the Nigerian Television Authority, we're in partnership with News Agency of Nigeria, Nigerian Union of Journalists, to sustain awareness for people to know that that old man, that old woman has a right within the law, that he or she put in so much. For instance, Senator Joku was a senator of the Federal Republic. He's still very active and serving. Take a look across the country. Who are those really heading some of the industry? Let's say the craft industry, for instance. It's still dominated by senior citizens. And you say you don't have a right? So what we do to ensure that we do, like with the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, we work with them within the VAP Act to ensure that if anybody is abused, any older person is abused, we have their toll line shared on our site where you can call. And we have had testimonies in Benue State, in Cross River State, in Enugu State, and in Imo State, where culprits were prosecuted because of this partnership. We also work hand in sync with expert bodies and stakeholders, like Senator Joku said. Cost-swapping is one body we are partnering with, and stakeholder groupings all over the country. Why are we doing this? They are in the field. They work with these persons, and their concerns are around matters of older persons and aging. We as government, we can't work alone. And within the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President, number 6 of it, education, health, and human rights.
So
we try to
in other words,
Mr.
Odain, so if there's any case of maybe abuse of an elderly person, they can contact your center.
As we speak,
yes.
If there's any case of abuse of any older person in the country, just contact the NAPTIP toll line, which is 0703 000 203
Again?
or 0800 call NAPTIP.
Okay.
And you'll be picked up.
Can you take the numbers again?
0703 000 203 or 0800 dash call NAPTIP.
Okay.
It works. So while this is going on, we know that by the time this Rights of Older Persons Act is passed, with an agency like NSCC and professional bodies and stakeholders like cost swapping working with us under the purview of, for now we are under the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction. It to really be that, let me just say the slogan, the beginning of NSCC with the fear, would be the fear of
NSCC.
Yes, the beginning of wisdom.
Beginning
because
of wisdom.
if you dare attack an older person,
you're in trouble. Very big trouble.
Yep.
So, talk to us, Senator Ajoko. What are some of the cultural, barriers or risk factors that could hinder the successful approaches to dealing with the elderly abuse? Because I know in some cultures, there are some beliefs that can stop, you from helping an elderly person when it's not your mom or your dad.
Really, naturally, there are no laws, but people have developed their own laws due to what they believe. It's a belief system. Now, when an old, do you know, even in my own village, some people believe that you can take their destiny from them. If you take their money, you've taken their destiny. So what's happening is that older persons are not helped for fear that if I help that old person, maybe she is a witch. She will bewitch me and my family.
And take your destiny.
And take your destiny. All right? Okay? And now when people do such things, you find that the old person is there, nobody wants to help because they are afraid. Or the old woman calls you and says, look, my son, I have this and this. Come and be helping me. I'll be giving you this. They will say, don't take anything from that woman. No. It's just a belief system. And belief systems are just something you wake up in and you imagine and you concretize it when it's not real. Why would people call an old woman a witch? Why would they arrogate every bad thing in the city?
To the old.
To the old. That's one question. But everybody is praying to be old. Why would, if somebody die, they say it's that old woman who killed the person? You see, those are the problems, the cultural problems that mitigate against everything we're talking about here. And until people begin, about 3 years ago, and the SA of somebody was one of those who set fire to a woman somewhere in other Cross River or Akwa Ibom because they perceived her as a witch.
That's unfortunate.
So you see all the treatments meted to older persons for no reasons of their own, just that God has kept them. And when they are walking bent, they say it is because of her sins. God has bent her over. If an older person suffers dementia, and dementia, you may not remember where you put your things and all that. They will think it's punishment from God.
Thank you very much, Senator Ajoko. There is a President Coalition of Societies for the Rights of Older Persons in Nigeria, cost roping. Thank you so much for coming on the program and sharing your thoughts with us. And also, Winnie Oden, the Head Corporate Affairs, Media and Communications at the National Senior Citizens Center, NSCC. Thank you so much for coming.
We hope we tried our best to deliver it.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
Of course. And thank you for being part of the program. I am Ikaria Clinton. Goodbye.